All right, so should be live. Let me just go over a couple of quick things before I dig into this live stream. A few things of note. This is an actual live stream. This isn't pre-recorded, and because of that, you're going to have some technical difficulties that come along with that. Yes, this is set to, the proper settings in YouTube and StreamYard. So any audio issues, they're kind of on me, but whatever. So I've got Hydrasynth going straight to the interface, and of course my voice is also going straight to the interface. Just a little bit of a limiter at the end here to hopefully prevent any clipping, and hopefully the sound levels will be, for the most part, level throughout this. Now, of course, in my ridiculous state, sometimes I'll look away from the mic. This is a very directional mic, and as one uses when they have kids in the house. So I'd rather not use a condenser in here and then have everything being picked up. So if you notice that I'm talking away from the mic, I'll do so now, just to kind of demonstrate how significant of a drop that can be. That's on me. Sorry about that. But yeah, so let's dig into this. This has been a little while since I have since I've released a free bank, and truth be told, I've been extremely busy, and ASM as a whole has been very, very busy. Just trying to, do all the good things that people would want us to do. So, I had considered doing this as a edited video, and really just taking time to clean everything up, all that jazz. But instead, I decided I would live stream it because otherwise it would never get done. So let's talk about what these patches are. Previously, I had done a bunch of other sounds. We're now up to sound 64, and this is going to be the spring cleaning. Spring cleaning bank here. Sorry, my sibilance is wild. So this bank, typically when I do free banks, they're very curated, and it's very much a specific topic at hand. Like the tape bank that I did before, or like the bass bank that I did, that sort of thing. This one is going to be a little bit more all over the place. However, there's a heavy emphasis on atmospheres, and I'll explain that as we go. So let's just dive into the sounds, and the first one is not an atmosphere. It's just a piano, but not even really a piano. It's just kind of like this EP sound. And what I like to do with these live streams is kind of showcase how you use these patches and why the macros are what they are. So let's move into this little tight view here. So with this view, I can kind of show you the macros and explain them a little bit. So obviously I have dry all the way up right now. And if I bring this down, you're going to get more stereo movement and phasing and character up. These are all subtle. You can adjust this here a bit. And of course we can brighten them. Oftentimes you'll notice I leave reverb and delay here. This is really useful because when you start creating, if you have a Hydrasynth Deluxe and you want to do layered patches, if you have your macros set the same on both upper and lower, you can control them both from the same macro, and it'll just automatically say delay and reverb right here. So it's just useful to always keep them in the same place because I pretty much always have them there. Also, if you notice, in the vast majority of my macros, I'll have a button value and I'll have a knob value. This allows you to have a preset that's just like a really useful place to go, like a sweet spot, as it were, right? So like, let's turn these all the way up, right? This is going to be a hot mess because reverb and delay are all the way up. But if I press these two, it takes me right to that sweet spot, so that's good. Now let's move on. So these were some by request patches. So there was a few requests for some like trance style patches, that sort of thing. So I went ahead and did a bunch of those. Let me just, I'm adjusting my screen here a little bit so I can see where I am at, and I want to pop out the chat as well. All right, let's pop this out. This way I can see the chat a little bit better. Okay. Back at it. So yeah, these are some trance style patches. Now if you play it legato, you won't get that cycling, but if you play it and you can adjust the length here. Super useful, and you could darken it a bit. If you want to just keep it. Now let me show you here. One of the things that I'm doing on these patches is Polyphonic Aftertouch is going to control both filter and the rate. So that's fun. So yeah, obviously these are meant for some big sounds. And then super thin, tiny pluck. On its own, doesn't sound super impressive, but super useful in a mix. Yeah, just little useful plucks in there. And then some stabs. And And again, super thin, just kind of designed to be on the top of the mix. So you can get really kind of aggressive with it. I don't know if that's going to clip on the live stream, so you'll probably want to watch the level on that one, and you can even drop the drive back a bit. And it's going to be like, you know, if you're listening on your phone or something, you're probably not going to hear it, but wide stereo spread there. So again, just stuff kind of outside of my own personal wheelhouse a bit, but useful. So now we're going to get into some very different style sounds. Now, if you'll listen to these, what's happening is you're getting these repetitions. And what you can do with that, right? Let's bring the tightness of it up. We can bring the wave scan up a bit here. You get a much more sizzly sound. Now, here's where we get into sounds that I personally had a whole lot of fun doing. These are the ones that, to me, I really like and impressed myself with. So the idea behind this next, I think it's like four patches or so, are all about ways of recreating reversal sounds in different ways and allowing you to explore that. So let's take a listen. Again, getting very atmospheric as well with these sounds. Now, what's nice about this is these are kind of like these reverse tape sounds, right? So I'm using a little bit of that tape emulation that I did on the previous bank. But here I can remove the second head. If I want, I can take the reverse down. And we get let me bring that up. Bring the second head back in. We also have control over the bleed. So I personally really enjoy these sounds. And they're going to be kind of an emphasis on kind of the melancholy, broken vibe. And here we get much more atmospheric and spacey. Got some polyphonic aftertouch happening here. And if we turn the slop up, get this movement. Just great for adding like a, you know, kind of an eerie ambience to something. And then this is one where I actually stole the patch from Glenn, and then I misshaped it to my own will. Again, really useful for just kind of cool background atmospherics. This one is great. So this is torn tape, and what it's going to do is not only is it going to be simulating, you know, a tape delay-ish kind of sound that's got the hiccups and the crinkliness of the tape, but it's also going to sound torn. So check it out. Take that down a bit. So if you want it a little cleaner, a little bit more low end. You can also take the attack to be more. So again, a heavy emphasis on kind of atmospheric movements and just having fun with that. Now this one is actually from something else, and it's going to be a bit big, so just be aware of that at a time. So this one actually emulates the bass line of a classic hip-hop track. I won't say the name of it. You can figure it out from the name of the patch. So if you're a hip-hop head, you'll be able to find that pretty easy. And I give you full control to easily kind of tailor it. So if you're trying to make your mix darker, you can do that. And you can also just kind of make it really broken and distorted. And I left it poly because the distortion's fun to play with, getting those harmonics to move. And we can also thin this thing out, which is actually pretty cool. So like, let's take this down, right, we have here, and we go thin. You get that blown out speaker. Just a really nice, aggressive, distorted bass, which is fun. Now going back to some atmospheric stuff. It's funny, Vincent. Literally, so I just saw your comment. Yeah, like a lot of these actually, I emphasize going thinner because a lot of the times in a mix you need to thin things out. Everybody wants everything so thick. Sometimes you gotta go thin. Now this patch here, just again recapping. I'm using a very directional mic here, so when I get quiet, it's because I'm looking away from the mic. Sorry. So what's great is with this, lots of stereo action. Trails on the back end there. So yeah. Again, heavy emphasis on atmospheric patches. And the poly aftertouch is doing quite a lot here. So yeah, if you're scoring anything in space, it's useful. Yeah, a lot of nights just kind of zoning out and making weird stuff. Obviously, this is not... Can you make it sound vintage analog? It's definitely a bank about exploring. I think you get the point. Lots of stereo movement going on in these. Just really all about messing with your headspace. Some poly aftertouch happening here. You can kind of bring in this upper piece. Now, here we go. Now, again, Vincent, you're asking about, can I make it thin? Thin. People underestimate how important it is to thin out a sound. There's a reason a lot of classic polysynths came with a high-pass filter on them. Clipping into the interface, not the internal synth. So again, this is all heavy emphasis on very atmospheric sounds. If you go into here, basically Crystal, all it's doing is we're moving the wave scan on oscillator 2. But if I take oscillator 2, let's actually just solo it for a second. Let me show you something here. So let's take the delay out, take thin down, right? Slop can stay where it is, subs coming down. Movement amount and blur are both coming down, crystal's going up, right? If I bring crystal down, it gets a little bit more full-bodied. Now, usually when I use something like a name like Crystal in a patch, what I'm doing here is, the idea is mentally, to me, when I think crystal, I think like kind of like shimmery kinds of sounds. So when I bring this up, it's going to maybe thin out a little bit, but it's also going to kind of not do it in a way that's ultra thin, but more just bright and glassy. Again, that's just the one oscillator. If I take that solo off here, I can actually go ahead and do that. So yeah, moving on, we'll go to escapism. Again, very atmospheric. This is just one note right now. And we're going to play with the sound using just one note. Now let's play it polyphonically and see what happens. So again, just kind of allowing these atmospheres to kind of build and evolve and change. Yeah, so a lot of the patches in here. Again, this is a spring cleaning bank. So this was basically like a lot of these patches came from different periods of time throughout the past year, and I just wanted to throw them all into a bank and then get them out of there so I could kind of start fresh for the summer. I'm a summer person, not a winter person. So I get kind of depressed during the winter, and there's going to be a lot of atmospheric and just moody things that happen. Hey, Woody. Brilliant videos, by the way, man. Thank you for those. I love watching them. Now here you'll see we have dirt. So we bring up some aliasing and use it to our advantage. Now, as we play with the polyphonic aftertouch on this, check out what it does, right? I'm just holding a triad here. Let's bring up the beef. And some rain. Kind of make it dreary. And some water. So you get the idea of, like, a lot of this stuff is going to be me being depressed from the winter, living in Delaware, just wanting to, you know, be somewhere sunny. So, and also, for those of you who missed the first half of the stream, this is a April kind of just spring cleaning of banks. The first half, you're going to hear some, like, piano sound stuff. You're going to hear some trance stuff. You're going to, you know, that were kind of community requested sounds. You're going to hear lots of different sounds in this bank as opposed to just a single curated bit of content. But there's a heavy emphasis on atmospheric sounds. So lots of long evolving sounds that, you know, you can just kind of hang on to, and you know, you just hold the note and things start changing over a nice period of time without being you know, like the envelopes and things really aren't that crazy long that I'm using in here. Really only, like, you know, 3-4 seconds in there, you know, total time of like maybe 6, that sort of thing. But that combined with polyphonic aftertouch and that sort of thing allows you to get some really nice movement happening here. So this patch is actually me stealing an idea from from a friend of mine. So Justin, sorry about that. So I was in the studio with Justin, and I think, forget what synth it was. But he had programmed this kind of climbing sound, and I was like, ooh, I like that idea. So I just try not to clip the stream here. And I can blur it. And these sounds actually sound really cool dry too. Like if I take this all the way down, take the brightness down, the blur down, leave the release up a bit. And the poly aftertouch on this is going to give you this vibrato and brightness. So yeah. Nothing like stealing from Justin. And this is me just kind of playing with the harmonic. So if we go into here, yeah, just playing with harmonics. And again, emphasis is not on being thick and heavy, but more being thin and mixable and watch when I bring this in. You could drop these out. But now you just get these. Again, spacey atmospherics. Highly moldable by your macros. Now, if I take the macros and I start bringing this down, we're back to just these. And we got this moving delay. Anyway, I'll get lost in this. I really enjoy like just playing around with these kind of goofy sounds like this. So if you go into the twist, it's mutant depth 1. And if you look at mutant depth 1, basically I'm kind of at this 0.25 ratio, and that's how you get that kind of... And if you want to make that really noisy, you can bring up the feedback. When you go past 100, it's really going to kind of get aggressive. Some fun stuff you can do with that. But again, like, you know, you really just kind of want to sit there late at night, turn on a black light, and act like a fool. So this is a really old patch that I did, and its name is a lie. Polymog. Yeah, on those moving delays, just a very, 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 very subtle amount to the delay time, right? Of whether it's going to be your poly aftertouch or whether it's going to be an LFO or an envelope. You want to do very subtle amounts, and you'll get really beautiful movement out of the delay that way. So So again, this is pretty old, but oldie but goodie. I can change this to... We could shorten it up here. So kind of just a classic style patch that's easy to get something playable out of. Now we're getting into some experimental weirdities. So if you play this, if you play it all out of town, or all out of time, you can go all over the place. But if you play it in sync, and if you look at these, where are we at here? Yeah. These envelopes here. So I'm doing these on 16th dotted notes and 8. Yeah, so 8 beats and 16th dotted notes. And you can play it kind of funky. You can do some interesting stuff with the sloppage here. So sloppage, it kind of moves the timing around a good bit. It gets really funky if you do an ARP with it. So if I have an ARP going, I can kind of... So now my timing is pretty close to the ARP, right? But it's slightly off. So you'll get these little stutters. And it's not just the ratchet and chance. And you can warp it. And we'll increase some decay. This is where we have fun. We're going to bring the gate up. So yeah, that's fun stuff just to goof off with. Again, spring cleaning, man. Like, let's get rid of all these patches. This is really nice. I like this kind of stuff. So this is where you bring in the glitch, and it's like, it's a really traditional sounding patch as is, right? So we can, if I bring the attack down, if I bring the glitch up, and we have just a bit of it. Just a bit. Watch what happens. Again, I love broken sounds. So I like to leave the glitch kind of low, so you get just a bit of that scratchiness. So it's just not perfect. You can darken it. With the key being that you're not darkening it too far to where you're removing the sound, like if you just grab the filter. We can make this way more attackier. And then I can take the darkness all the way out. Alright, so now this one here, Please Chill. Another really old patch that I did, but it's got some nice techniques in here. So one of them is, instead of doing a tape emulation, vinyl. Just kind of dusty and broken. What I really like though is, and I added this literally like 2 minutes before the live stream, is I have this clean macro. And the clean macro, what it's going to do is we're actually going to take out some of that drive, right? So right now we've got this drive, right? You hear how it's like crunchy, right? But if I bring up the clean, I take that out, but I'm also bringing up this FM here, right? Sounds great if you do this. Right, so if I do this here, and let's go to, right? Bring up the time. Right? And, of course, a little bit of this. And then I bring up the heterodyne. Now the heterodyne is going to be way more involved when clean is up. Let's actually bring this. So now when I play this, I have this kind of heterodyning alias sound. Bring this down so you can hear it a little better. And you can play it with polyphonic aftertouch. So when you hear it kind of go up, so let me see if I can show you. So let's see which keys you can see. And of course you can make it, if you do it without clean, it's still there, but it's covered up a bit by the grit. So it's better with the FM and with the clean there. Just fun. Back to some atmospherics. Again, lots of ripped up sound. You make it clean. Take the thickness out of it. Make it as thin as you want. You can also do this. All right. Now we're on to Poor Hand. Really, waves are all about changing the timbre to go from like brightness and darkness and materials. Again, you'll notice on the delay here, it's kind of moving around. And I'm using the button here will allow for a preset of the delay. So if you want, you can kind of get crazy with the delay, go over the top. And then you can punch back. Or you can drop this all the way down. And then, of course, I can punch it. Right, and that's great for, you know. Right. make it really. Just a lot of fun spaces inside of there. Kind of stuff that brings you back into that like modular synth world of you know, percussive arpeggiations and whatnot. Another little reverse style patch. If you missed the reverse patches earlier in the stream, I highly recommend you check that stuff out. So yeah. Again, we went from patch 64 all the way up to, we're up to 93 now. So spring cleaning, just getting rid of a lot of patches, man. Take these presets out. So with this, when we change the detuning on here, and I bring up the harmonic, as you take the darkness down, you're going to hear that movement. If I bring the toy up, going to thin that back out. Just very playable, but also not going to overtake your mix. Bring these back down. And again, a lot of this stuff is kind of, the point is, winter sucks. And I'm so happy to be back into spring. So it's kind of like getting the melancholy out. Useful. Here we are with some kind of like analog style, but also some dissonance happening in it. And you can bring up the warble. The instability here, the unstable, you'll hear that kind of, like if I just hold the note here, you'll hear the instability coming in and out with the tape loop. Uncle Chrome, I'm glad to hear that, man. The 888 is crazy. I love that orange, honestly. I wasn't 100% on board until I saw it in person, and I was like, wow, that thing looks sick. We can change the whole shape of this patch here. So like, let's take the instability down, all right? Warble down, shape up. Darken it a little bit, take the res all the way down. And if I bring the air up, so that air just kind of comes in and out. All right, let's move on a bit here. Handouts. And you could take these and kind of, if you dig in, so you can see here my hand. I'll kind of play something up top here. I'm barely looking at my screen trying to see. You play it with polyphonic aftertouch. We can also take that out, right? So just starting that patch over real quick. If I take the Mai Tai down, just get these little, right? And Jianbing down. So you don't need all that craziness going on in there if you don't want it. But it's nice to have something kind of fluttering around in the background on some patches and just kind of subtle. And we can slow it way down. So again, this patch bank has just a lot of atmospheric stuff. patches have emphasized on being more digital and atmospheric and that sort of thing. This is a much more traditional patch. Break it up with the crunch here. Just a touch of that drive and a touch of that, you know. You don't like to go too far with it, you know, just kind of bring up some of this distortion effect here. But the thing about this is, in the distortion, you really want to curve this how you like it, right? Like, I like taking the curve pretty far down, just a little bit of asymmetry on it, just kind of keep it subtle inside of here, because when you go too far with it, like if I have curve all the way up, like, it might sound cool, but it's a lot harder to kind of let it sit in a mix. All right, take that way back down. My drive is down here, you know, so just useful stuff to do. And of course, you can change the filter attack. Yeah. Lots of movement and craziness going on here. Hey, what's up, Eric? So yeah, we've gone from patch 64 to we're now on patch 99 of the free bank. This is a spring cleaning bank. A lot of atmospheric sounds. Some reverse sounds. Some analog style sounds, some digital sounds. This one's cool because I can go from this, let me let it kind of chill out for a second here. Let's take the bleed down. We're going to take the wave stack down, right? We got it really basic here, okay? Second is up, but build up's down. It's really basic sound, right? What's cool about this, right, is I love exploring the digital nature here. So let's play with taking this analog style sound and making it really fizzle and pop in a way that's more digital and interesting in that way. So if I go here, there's so much for this to bite onto. So now we're in that super dystopian. And if we bring this up a bit. So you've got this like upper aliasing going on, and with the lowest phi, you got the lower aliasing going on. So you can really kind of, and this is a single patch. This is for all Hydrasynth models. All of these are. Now we get into the head warping. Just a wide range of sounds that you can get with that, and just kind of really super emotive, and I don't know, I like playing that stuff like that. All right, this one, it's a hot mess. I'm be honest with you straight up front. This is a hot mess. Yeah. This is just one key, one note. Now we can take the sequence out. And again, we can thin this out. Sequence back in. So just having some fun with the vocal filter on there. And this is kind of a polar opposite patch, right? And again, I just love having some dirt. Don't need a lot. This one was actually dedicated. This one's called Paul S, and it was dedicated to a friend of mine that passed away recently. Oh, let's turn that down. That's Paul yelling at me. Now, Paul was known for some incredible synthesizer design, and has a massive legacy. And one of the, well, a few of the modules that he was known for doing was like these wavetable modules, but also he had these modules that would kind of blur the spectrum and split things apart and kind of make them blurry. So I can gain focus here. I can even control a secondary cutoff here to keep things a little bit more in tame. And then I can blur it with the lack of focus. And then one more. I think this is the last one. So we're on patch 103. So again, Vincent, I'm thinning patches out here. Lots of poly aftertouch on that. We can take this down, and this up. And that's it. So that is the free patch bank for April. And again, it's a spring cleaning bank. I mean, we go all the way back here to patch 64. And then we traveled up through the trance stuff. Some plucks. We've got... And then, you know, the reversal stuff is great. I love this stuff. This is probably my favorite stuff from the bank. And it'll be up on, matter of fact, if I go right now, I think I can hit active. Yeah. And it should be active on my webpage right now. So if you go to shop.fluxwithit.com, you'll see the spring cleaning Hydrasynth bank is up there for free right now. No charge or anything. I think it asks for an email, but that's just part of what Shopify does. No, this is for single engine Hydrasynth. This is not. None of these patches were multis. This is all just single bank stuff. So you can create your own multis with these and layer these together. Yeah, so if you just go to shop.fluxwithit.com, you can download it for free from there. If you'd like to support my channel, I don't really do Patreon or anything like that. I try to just help people out as often as I can. If you'd like to support or anything, there's ways of doing that. I'm sure you can figure it out. You know, you can buy a sample pack or whatever. I don't know what YouTube does. I don't do the whole like I don't do the whole influencer thing of it. I just don't really have the time. So but yeah, so please grab these patches. Please make stuff with these sounds. Feel free to alter them as you see fit. And, you know, these are all starting points for you. Like, the whole point of a preset is really just to kind of explore and help you explore and do your thing. So please do so. I hope you all have a wonderful week and stay safe. This is me saying peace. Peace, peace, peace. Yeah.